principles, be human, and be you. Our speaker today is probably the only person that we can really think about who is more fitting to speak on this topic. So we're happy to have her here with us today, Ms. Johnnie Rosario. Johnnie is the Chief Operating Officer of Condit Incorporated. She's also the Secretary of the Board of Directors and advocate, particularly for women in recovery. She's a mother, a grandmother, and a proud daughter of Mariquita Santos Rosario and the late Johnny Borja Rosario of Sinajana. And so please allow me to welcome Ms. Johnnie Rosario.
Hi guys. I have to sit down. Eric, I have to sit. I can't stand. Oh shoot. I don't know if I can do this. Okay. My name's Johnnie. I am a child of Mariquita and Johnny Rosario of Sinajana. I am child number 6 out of 7. I was the crazy one. Anyways, I give my mom a lot of problems, so I'm glad she's here. She can see me in this light. She's usually rescuing me. Let me just start off by saying. Not that I'm proud of this, but I am a convicted federal felon. I was addicted to methamphetamine for most of my adult life. So, being born into a big family, God knew that I needed extra. So not only did I have my mom and my dad, I had my older sisters and brothers because there's a big age gap. And then I also had guardians. I always thought outside of the box was so naughty that it made me live in a little box for a little while, So when I turned 14, I found myself pregnant with my first child, okay? My mom saved me. By the time she didn't let me handle anything on my own. She allowed me to it had its good days and its bad days. I ended up having 3 children by the time I was 18 years old. My guardian saved me by giving me a job. My highest level of education is 9th grade. And I found myself making decisions, going too fast and not making good decisions for me and my kids and, the life. But having my mom and my guardians to save me, there was a pattern, So in 2004 is the first time I ever got arrested federally. And once again, someone saved me. I got let off. I was supposed to be in jail for 40 years, and I won that case by technicality, okay? So here, and I don't stop. I just keep going. I keep using. I'm not only using meth, I'm also cooking meth in this beautiful island, okay? So in 2007, I find myself behind bars once again. And who comes to save me? My mom and my guardians. They get me out of jail. They give me a job. I become a medical biller, a certified medical biller. And I stay sober for 6 years. And in 2014, I relapse. I built a home. I got my kids back. My mom says, here's your kids. I end up relapsing once again. And this is the worst relapse of my life. I started to use I don't know if you guys understand the usage of drugs, You go from smoking to intravenous. It was crazy. So in 2014, I fell super hard. So the pattern is the people that love me, my family, rescue me. I never take responsibilities for the actions, for the choices that I made. So in 2018, and this is what brings me here today. In 2018, once again, behind bars. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in 2008, when I go in front of the federal judge again, that judge saves me as well. She gives me another chance, and I don't take it. Okay, so here comes 2018. I'm at the worst of my addiction, And in between this time, when I'm in the darkness, I meet Troy. And Troy and I meet each other through drugs, okay? I was Troy's, Troy would buy drugs from me. So, and that's how we met each other, okay? But the relationship didn't become what it is today until 2018. So 2018, once again, I'm behind bars, and I had to look in the mirror. I had adult children, and I had to beg. There has to be a higher power. Something, I wasn't gonna do this on my own. Yes, I had all the family support, but if you don't take that support and use it to drive you, no one can help you. Not a good job, nothing anyone gives you, you're gonna take. And so in 2018, I finally looked at myself in the mirror, and I asked God to take the taste out of my mouth, change my mind, change my heart, and help me. So that's when me and Troy hook up. And I meet this guy. I'm trying to figure out my way out of that life of selling. That's how I was buying food for my kids. That's how I was paying for the power and the water, and I wanted a way out. And here's Troy, and he never left my sight. From 2018, March 15, to this day, we've been, there's not a day that goes by that we're not. God knew what I needed, right? Saving me again, right? But this time it's different. This time I want it. It's not a facade, and I'm not trying to be something that I'm not, right? Because I know I embarrassed my mom, like she looks at me and like doesn't want to, she's like, what are you? What is this, So, I felt it all. I stopped using drugs. We started Candid. Because we were both abused by the powers that be. And I was looking at this guy with this bow tie, right? I'm like, what is this guy getting me? Like, he's like, I want to start a news agency. I'm like, okay, that's what you want. I'm your friend, and I'm here to support you. Do you have a camera guy? He's like, no. I said, guess what? My first cousin, my brother, that I used to bully since we were 2, okay, is the camera guy. For 30 years, he's been in news, and this is Eric, okay? I said, I have a cousin, and he will do anything that I say, right? So I call him, I pitch to him our idea, and Candid from there takes off. So even, this Candid is Troy's dream. And I know that I'm the support. So imagine opening up this corporation, not knowing how to do anything, from taxes to payroll to paperwork. So it seemed overwhelming, But then I realized, oh shoot, I know how to do these number things, because that's what I used when I was selling. So it all just came together. Like, oh, I'm pretty smart. I know how to do this. I know how to make it work. And so Candid has been a light for me. From there, I've opened up my heart and my mind, and my compassion has. I really want women to feel like there's a way out. And once you get that way out, you got to just keep on going. You cannot stop. And so Candid, 2 years ago, 5 years Candid's been, it's going to be 5 years, okay? When you see the stories that go out, the lives, that go out, and we try to touch people, get down with them and make them feel, the fight, right? But all of that is not just what goes on there behind closed doors. There's investigating. There's people calling because they can't get help. There's people calling because they're hungry. There's people calling because they feel like there's no way out. So all of us as a group, there's 5 of us at the office. All of us give back one way or the other. And so 2 years ago, when I thought we're at the top of the food chain and we're good and it's all good. I find me and my 10-year-old daughter at the time homeless because I had to make a choice to stay in the relationship my partner was still using, or do I stay there and make it work and then find myself back in that life, or do I walk away? And I chose me. I chose to walk away. So 2 years now, I'm great, everything's good, everything worked out, you know. So, you know, and I gave you guys folders, and this is the real reason why I'm here, okay? Mom, can I just tell you thank you for being the strong... You know, my mom's been in public service. So, you know, she worked for the government. My whole family's public service, you know. So thanks, Mom. I love you. I love you so much. Okay, so if I gave you an advertising packet, the rates aren't really that. We could work with companies and individuals. But I also want to let you know what when you advertise with Canada, yes, it'll benefit your company because you get to see all of our 50,000, you know, the 50,000 viewers will check it out, and we can go to your company and Troy can eat because people love seeing Troy eat. It makes them hungry, and then they go buy the food there, right? So not only does it benefit your company, but also it helps us give back, you know. It helps us help women be stronger and coming together. You know, there's something about women. When they come together and they actually help one another, we succeed. You know, just to know. Like, 2 weeks ago, I sat there like, what am I going to say to these ladies? I'm not like them. I don't have it figured out like them, you know? Like Pika and you guys, and, right? All of you. But then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I am like them, you know? And so I didn't know what my message was going to be to all of you. And my message is, everybody has a light. Find that light and go with it. Don't stop. And Guam being Guam, we have to help one another. We have to build each other up. We have to let them know, I may not know what you're going through, but I'm right here with you. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna do this together. And so I'm here. If any of you have family or friends or even yourself is going through something and you feel like you're alone, call me. My number's in the folder. You know, if it's a husband or a son, I have men in my life that will be able to help them, to guide them, to talk them out of whatever situation they're in. And that's my promise to this Guam chamber. Yeah, that's it, guys. But yes, yeah. Thanks. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Any questions?
I
Sorry.
actually have a question.
Sure.
Because that was a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Johnny. But I actually have a question for your mom and Troy.
Sure.
Because I feel like you, Johnny. I mean, I feel like, you want to bring women alongside you. You want to empower them. You want to, but first we got to fix our own mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mom, I have a question for you. Like, because I have a strong, small mama too, but, she's got a voice too. So, I wanted to talk about, like, going back to knowing your daughter's worth and how you kind of talked her off that ledge. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, in the beginning, I'm a very strong belief in women being independent. And I don't like them to be dependent on a man because then, things happen and you're left out. So I try to teach them, tell them to, get your education, and be independent. But, oh, Lord, the things she put me through, I swear. There was one day, the police, the GPD called me, Mrs. Rosario. Do you know where your car is? I go, yes.
I was 12 at this time. I was 12.
It's in the garage. I said, let me check. I opened it up. The car was not there. Okay? I opened up all the rooms to see if she was in there. She was right there sleeping, right? I still had this, because there was no break-in. I went out, investigated the place, no broken glasses or anything like that. Shit. And so when I started looking into it, right, I find out that somebody drove her. She took the car and went driving around, got into an accident. Somebody drove her up to the house, climbed into the window, and I don't think she was even sleeping when I looked in.
I wasn't.
Oh, my God.
I was getting ready. I was getting ready for the, you know.
And that was not the only car that she wrecked. Okay? Her father was leaving for work. She was only, what, 5 or 6
I don't
years
know.
old? And she loves her father. I mean, because I'm the no and the father's the yes, right? She's the father's going to work. She's running out to jump on the pickup to go with him to work. I mean, it was just horrendous. And then when the 3 kids came, you know, I'm a grandmother. I am not going to see my grandchildren out there with foster homes. So I took them in when she got, and I keep telling, and she said, you make the choice. When it comes to drugs, you make that choice. Nobody forced it on you. So you figure it out, because I am not going to sit down and baby you about it. You go out there and you figure yourself out. When you're good and ready, you come back home. I refuse. It was tough.
You didn't give up.
And everybody else was easy, saving her. I said, she needs to stay in there to learn take accountability of what she's doing. And that was in 2009, I said to myself, I have to leave. When she got out of jail, I saw her taking care of the children. I said, I need to get out of here, because as long as I'm here, she's going to be, you know, Mama's here. She'll take care of it, right? So I left, and I took care of my other girl that was the last one to have children. She had thyroid cancer, and they took care of it, but she wanted children, and the doctor said that there's no reason why you can't have children. So I figure I'll go there and de-stress her, you know, cooking, cleaning, and all that stuff. Sure enough, I only contracted for 1 child. 4 came out. 2 sets of twins. Then 2018, my brother passed away. It was time for me to come home because my parents are still alive. And I need to be there for them. And that's it. That's all you need to do. But it was hard. It was heartbreaking. I even tried to switch my approach the last time, you know, where, okay, Johnny, what do you want? What do you need? That kind of, that still didn't work. It had to be them. They had to want to get out of it.
So
Otherwise.
now what's your dynamic? How are you guys, how's your relationship now that you've seen her, now that you've seen
Oh,
her
it's great, honey.
succeeding
It's
and-
great. It's great. It's
That
just great.
even when I would pretend that I'm getting better, she'll take one good look at me and be
And
like,
she'll know.
she'll be like, get out of here. I don't want to hear it. I'm over this. Like, don't even go there with me. Get out. She knew, you know, So that now the dynamic is, Mom, are you all right?
Yeah.
Do you need anything? I'm going to come check you.
Yeah.
You know, let's go stroll, you know, but yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I got a similar question for Troy. Troy, because you know, you guys have similar backgrounds, right? So like, what was it about Johnny that like made you say, I'm gonna save her? Like, did she save you too?
Oh, I never thought that I was gonna sing. If there's a Superman in the relationship, it's Johnny. It's not. I'm the Lois Lane. No, honestly, like Johnny saved me. Yeah, it was a very difficult and a traumatizing time, and she was the one who was there.
Yeah.
Other people were there too, but I mean, ride or die.
I know, because I remember seeing you guys always together, like every day, how you guys were all live together. And I was
Especially at Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now that you both are like, you've come to your own, like, what's the dynamic now? Like, do you feel like now you're true partners, or how?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed actually in the dynamic.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, she's still my protector. If you ever want to go to a scary place of any part of the world, take Johnny with you. She'll march right in front of you. No, really. Candid would not have survived these 5 years had it not been for Johnny. In the very beginning, you know, we didn't have any money. No one would. There were no advertisers. And, you know, kudos and many thanks to especially our early advertisers who took the risk. And there was a couple of big names too, and we thought like, wow, you guys are really the governor's not going to like you guys. Like, you're not getting any government contracts. But in the very beginning, we didn't have any of that. And we had Eric. And Eric, because he was associated with us, lost the full-time job that he had. The person who he worked for didn't like that we covered things when he was a former senator, and et cetera, et cetera. And so literally, for, I don't know for how many months, but for quite a few months, you know, Johnny was able to convince Eric, work for us, do all this work, come in at all these hours, and I'm going to pay you with pugwa. Literally.
I told you to listen to me since we were two. Okay?
Literally, yeah. Yeah, and we didn't have to this day, we don't have a business plan. We don't have a strategic vision. Everything has been sort of day by day just doing what it is that we need to do and want to do. Sometimes it gets crazy. Many times it gets crazy. Johnny is the person who organizes that craziness and whispers into each of our ears that tomorrow is coming. Really. And I would imagine that in any successful business, you need that person. It's just sort of an indispensable position.
What would you tell the women here today who might be just internally struggling and not like knowing how to share or overcome? I mean, that's a lot of what Johnny's story is, right? Just overcoming obstacles. What would you tell women? Because you've seen her go through that. Like, you know what worked for her. Like, what would you tell some of the women here that you've just seen displayed in Johnny that they could do too?
Ditch him if he's the problem. Yeah.
No,
Honestly.
You know, our culture, the Chamorro culture,
Yeah.
even the Filipino culture, you know, our Guamanian culture, I'll say, we're not supposed to talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to just be quiet and not, and I reiterate this to all women that I do speak to, that I do get a chance to be lucky enough to talk to them and help each other. There is some kind of relief in talking about what's going on inside of you, because you question yourself. You know, am I really feeling this? Is this really going on? And when you don't talk to people or talk about it, it's a question. But when you say it out loud with your mouth, and you have people that love you, they're going to tell you if it's real or not. They're going to tell you, okay, you're just crazy, you know, or that is wrong. This is what I feel about you, you know, and and we need to break that cycle. We need to break that, even this recovery, whether you're recovering from drugs or alcohol or bad relationships, we need to be able to talk about it. Because there is no healing when we don't know what you're going through. And then you're going to have some people that's just going to talk about you and not like you, and we don't even care about those people. Okay? You got to just stick to the ones that believe in you, that want you to succeed. And you could tell them, you know, that me, yes, I do come across them, but I tell them, you're going to like me later. Yeah. I know you don't like me right now, but you will like me later, you know? So, yeah, that's what I would tell women. Get up and get it. Nobody's going to give it to you.
I watched an episode where your daughters.
Oh, yes.
That was such a, and then
Yes,
I
yes.
support you too, and I think that you serve a purpose for these women, especially your girls. And you tell their story about how their struggle was whenever he would come and go out of their lives, and but to see them talk about that and talk the way that they spoke of you, I know that their love for you was genuinely there.
And you know who
there.
taught them that?
Your mother.
That lady
And
right
that's why
there.
I'm looking at her, because through all that chaos in their lives,
Yeah.
coming in and out, their
You were the
constant was
Right.
mom.
Yes.
And that shows a strong family value. And like you
Yes.
said, like in our Chamorro culture, you're not supposed to talk about the problems, or you're not supposed to talk about your kids and what they're doing. And you know, like I had the same struggle with my family and my brother, where my mom and dad refused to talk about, what he was doing on the side because they felt like the church, they were so involved in the church, and they
Yeah.
would just pray away the naughtiness or pray away the
Yeah.
bad things that he was doing, or what
Yeah.
what they were being defiant, right when he was being defiant against them. And then Danielle, how you hold her accountable all the time. I've heard her say a couple of times that you would call her and be like, no, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
no,
Yeah.
Troy actually calls Danielle my project.
Yeah.
And I'm just there. Everything Danielle has. She also has a similar story, right? Here, no,
Okay, no.
Well, anyways, so no, Danielle has a similar story, right? That Danielle now has a home, she has her own car, and I didn't do that for her. She did that for herself. I was just in her ear. Okay, no, maybe not that decision, sweetheart. Just maybe not that one. Let's try something else. So you're just there, just pumping them up to get them, to where they want to be.
So did you feel like you were kind of playing your mom's role for?
Oh yeah, I do. No, I'm pretty sure. Troy always teases me all the time. No, he says your mom's the winner.
Yeah.
Cello, he tells me you'll never win against your mom. Your mom will always win. But yes, thank you guys so much. I really, I was so scared, no one would show up, I was like, nobody wants to hear my story.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with, because, in all honesty, like you said, you shared your past.
Yeah.
People know who you are, they know who you are from before, and some of these people sit in positions and businesses and organizations. How do you deal with the negativity or the stigma that
I asked them,
you are who
what's their
you are,
problem?
and-
What's bothering them? Why do you feel this way? And I'll tell you, I will not lie to you. I'll give you your answer. I'll give you the answer. There's nothing, the way I am from before, because being on drugs, you're two people. You're not, you are lying. You're a liar. You may not lie, because my mom, like every time she'd be like, you're on that stuff. I'm like, okay, I am. Even my family, I never hid it from them. I just wouldn't check them just so that I didn't have to answer. So, you're two people. You know what I mean? So being now, like, if you have a problem with it, and usually, can I just be honest?
Yeah,
The people that have a problem with it, there's either their family or they themselves are dealing with it. And I'm going to go for that. Like, I will go for that. I will let them know that I'm here, but that's usually the case.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
So stand by your integrity.
Yeah, yeah.
And definitely vocalize.
Yes.
Yeah, don't, like, if you feel that there's that stigma following you, you're ready to talk about it.
Yeah. But that
Yeah.
stigma is how many years ago
Yeah,
now?
exactly. Yeah.
We're moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. And just reminding.
I forgave myself
Yes.
for
Now,
those
can you
things.
forgive me?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I just say, it's not as simple as she makes it sound. Johnny has a way of approaching, or she has an intuition. She knows whether or not you're gonna talk to her. She knows whether or not to back off and let you, or if she's just gonna have to ask you what's up. Like, it's not as simple as you just ask, you just say no. Johnny is so special.
Thanks, Neil. Oh, and by the way, my name is Johnny because my dad's name is Johnny, and I was his favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Wait. And I was born on his birthday, so that's the reason why my mom named me Johnny. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. We're done, right? No more questions? Any questions?
I don't have a question. I do have a comment. I just, I've known Candid for a few years now, and I do want to say that media is risky business. Being able to expose a lot of the things, and I can honestly say that, Candid has made a big impact on the people's lives, most especially in the CNMI. So I'm from the CNMI. I moved to Guam back in 2019. I met Johnny and Troy via my political affiliation. I'm the executive director for the Democratic Party of the CNMI. We have been struggling for several years. The CNMI, as you know, has been exposed. We are dealing not just with decades and decades of corruption, but there is a way of life and a culture that we are talking about today that has been normalized. And so being able to expose a lot of the wrongdoings, and I think mainly it's just, the CNMI's inability to self-govern. It's more of a moral crisis, if anything. And so I just want to thank Candid for being that light, and for exposing and for talking and for having these conversations, these hard conversations of things that people would never talk about. I mean, between Saipan, Tinin, and Rhoda, it is exactly what she said it was. It was, not being able to talk about family issues, not being able to talk about the crisis that is happening, not just in the home, but in our government. So I just want to tell you, Mom, that, she turned out great. And I'm so glad that they found each other and they started Candid. And if you think that you haven't touched her life, just know that she has touched so many lives across the Pacific, and I admire the work that she's doing to be able to be that voice for women that don't have that voice, to be able to come out and to talk about these issues. And I get it. It is really hard, even being in the private sector. I worked for the private sector for about 8 years. I stopped working when I moved to Guam because I knew that I wanted to take on our government head on. It was something that I wanted to do, and I volunteered, my entire life, my career, the past 3 years, volunteering to expose corruption for what it is and to be that light. And so I'm just really glad that we were able to connect. I'm glad that you're here telling your story. You are exactly the way you were when I first met you, just so brave, and we really do need those extra voices. And I think women spend so much time judging each other. We're competing and we're constantly judging each other, when really what we need to be doing is lifting each other up. We need to lift each other up. We need to support each other. We need to help each other, because she said it, when women succeed, we all succeed. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And thank you guys for having me and my family. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Johnny. Again, please feel free to hang out a little bit with us, have some fruit and some goodies provided right here, and then definitely some conversation with Johnny if you'd like to. So thank you so much, everyone. Our next Chamber Business Women's Network event, I'm going to plug it right now because it's coming up on March 8th. And it's our coffee and chill. There's going to be some more information. It's actually going to be up on the website of the Chamber. You're actually able to get the information there, as well as register for our next event, which is on March 8th. So we hope to see you all there again too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But yes, my number is in the folder, ladies.
Yes.
And for anything.
Yes.
Dull knives are the absolute worst, but I will take any dull knife and put a razor sharp edge on it so you won't have to hack or try to saw your ingredients when prepping your food. I sharpen knives, cleavers, machetes, and much more. Shoot me a text, WhatsApp, or give me a call for more information on how you can get your knives sharp.